One thing you have to be mindful of is when someone's being admitted into the United States on a non-immigrant visa, the passport has to be valid for more than 6 months from the intended departure date. I think it really is. But at the very, so let's say you're coming with a tourist visa and it's going to be 6 months. You need to have a passport that's valid for additional 6 months. Now, some countries, and this is really important to know, if you check out the Foreign Affairs Manual for the Department of State, some countries get an automatic 6 months extension on their passport beyond the expiration date. There's a list of the countries that this applies to. But let's say you come in, you have passport that only has 3 months on it, and you're from one of these countries that's extra 6 months. They'll only issue the B2 for 3 months when you're coming at admission. Well, they're supposed to. If you're coming from one of these countries that doesn't have the automatic 6 months, they could potentially, they'll probably let you in, but they could deny you admission, saying you don't have passport validity according to the CFR regulations, all that kind of stuff. So that's that. You got to be mindful of that. The problem really pops up for admission is people with H-1B visas come in, the passport's about to expire in a month, so the validity of the I-94 only becomes 1 month, but they don't notice that because they think, oh, the approval date for the H-1B is for a year, 2 years, whatever, left on it, so it's all good, and they get stuck with this later. They have to file a non-proton extension request, all this kind of stuff, which I'm not going to talk about right now. But I had the misunderstanding. I thought this also applied when you do an extension of status for some reason. So it doesn't apply for extension of status. You just have to have a valid passport at the time of filing for extension of status, or change of status even. But the having the validity for that whole time and limiting your I-94 time is at admission, but not when you're in the United States. So it'll give you the full time as long as the passport is valid at the time of filing. And I remember reading somewhere that you have to maintain a valid passport in the United States, which has gotten really hard because of COVID, because a lot of embassies won't be renewing passports or shut down this and that. I'm sure USCIS will give special occasion on these to not be as strict, but be mindful of these nuances. It's just a gazillion different nuances with immigration that you got to be careful of and always think about. So it's so important.